It's difficult for Tori Nelson to get work as an interrogator nowadays. Maybe because he was in Abu Ghraib in Iraq when the photos surfaced. Or maybe because he speaks so openly about the methods.
When I got to Abu Ghraib in late 2003, some of these techniques that are being recommended and just preliminarily approved a year prior are now considered to be norm. Until,
for example, which?
Use of dogs, sleep deprivation, stress positions, meal management, light exposure, noise exposure. I don't even think those were actually listed, but maybe they are. These were techniques that were experimental at first, but then later on became commonplace.
Has Guantanamo become a testing ground for interrogation techniques, which are then exported to other places? It can't be a coincidence that the same things we see in photos from Abu Ghraib in Iraq are described in documents from Guantanamo in Cuba. But what is the connection? And who exactly sent the request to use tougher methods? It appears to be the same two-star general who Bacchus had problems with. And if you look at the date, the request was sent October 11, only 2 days after Bacchus left. And 1 month later, neither Bacchus nor the two-star general are still at the base. A new man has taken command. General Miller.
The interrogation techniques that we use in JTF Guantanamo are approved by the senior leadership of our government.
Shortly after Miller took command, Rumsfeld personally approved the request for tougher interrogation methods. He had only one objection. The inquiry requested permission to force prisoners to stand in stress position for up to 4 hours. In the margin, Rumsfeld himself scribbled, "I stand 8 to 10 hours a day." Why is standing limited to just 4 hours?
Was it like that when Bacchus left and he was soft, that's the picture of him, then down a very short period, and then came Miller, who really sort of started the harsher techniques?
Miller, I believe, had no difficulty with pushing from his own office to get more results. And that was no bullshit aside, this man wanted everybody to break. And believe that the only right that the people down there at Guantanamo had was the right to give us intelligence. That was the only right.
We're in the business of winning the global war on terrorism. But we also conduct ourselves as Americans always do. Everything that goes on in Camp Delta is a representation of what we think makes America great.
Did Miller have something to do with Bacchus being fired? And if that's the case, why did he want Bacchus out of the way? What had Bacchus seen, and how much did he know? We decide to call up Bacchus again, and this time he is more cooperative.
This is Rick Bacchus. I called you actually a long time ago. At that time, you didn't want to talk.
I'm not at liberty to give any interviews at this particular point in time.
There are so many rumors about you that we don't want to end up telling things in a wrong way.
What is the timeline for your story?
But in order to speak freely with us, he needs permission from the Pentagon.
Is it the Southern Command or the Department of Defense?
It would be Department of Defense in my case.
Okay, and if they give you permission to participate, will you be available for an interview?
Then I would make myself available, correct.
Okay, really good.
Apparently the General Bacchus needs to get permission from is a general officer who is the chief of staff there at Southern Command.
I apologize for the runaround, but we have absolutely no authority to grant General Bacchus the opportunity to talk to you. This is something very closely controlled at the highest level, which is OSD Public Affairs.
We wouldn't advise a former commander to talk about his time at Guantanamo.
But so can you basically deny him to give interview?
I can't tell him what to do. He's a free citizen.
Okay.
But it sounds to me like he has told you that if we approve it, in other words, we authorize it or we advise that it's the right thing to do, that he'll do it. I'm not advising that.
Why does the Pentagon want to silence Bacchus? Who fired him and why? And who was it that took the interrogation methods from Guantanamo, Cuba, to Abu Ghraib in Iraq? Maybe the answer can be found somewhere else. After the scandal in Abu Ghraib, when the photos came out, command of the prison camp was taken over by none other than General Miller. Miller was sent to Abu Ghraib to clean up the mess after the scandal and make sure that no abuse against prisoners would ever happen again. But the person Miller replaces is General Janis Karpinski. Many consider her to be the most responsible for what went on in the prison in Iraq, since she was the commanding officer at the time, and it was her soldiers posing in the pictures.
Hello?
Hello? Janice? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, but there's an echo.
This is Eric Candini calling from Sweden.
Hi, Eric. How are you?
Fine, how are you? I wasn't expecting to find you, actually. I mean, I know this is not maybe your area of interest, but you heard about the dispute between Bacchus and Danlave because of interrogation techniques.
I think that's why Bacchus was fired.
You think so?
Yes. And see, everybody down at Guantanamo Bay under Miller, they were all required to sign a formal statement from the government, which is called a non-disclosure statement.
Mm-hmm.
And that means when they leave Guantanamo Bay, they can't discuss anything that they've seen or heard or participated in.
Mm-hmm. I have to meet you. Are you willing to say this? I mean, are you willing to give me an interview?
Yes, that's why I agreed to speak to you.
Okay. Where do you live? I mean, about?
I live in South Carolina, which is right on the coast.
Rumor has it that Karpinski is now in an open conflict with the army, after being demoted and relieved of her title as a general. Not for the abuses in the prison, she's been found not guilty of those, but because 3 years ago she was said to have shoplifted a perfume bottle. She's even said to hate General Miller, and that she accuses him of the abuses in Abu Ghraib.
How's your trip so far?
Good. Hi.
Hi.
Eric.
Janice.
Tariq. Saleh. Hi.
Tariq?
Tariq.
That's not a Swedish name,
No,
is it?
I'm half Egyptian, half Swedish.
Very nice. And who's the cameraman?
This is Lucas Eisenhower.
Hi, Lucas.
He's actually American. He is. He's half American. Like, I'm half Italian, he's half Egyptian.
So I have the United Nations here.
Yeah, it's the melting pot.
All right.
Come out of the cave. You want to come out? Come on. Come on. You got to come out. Okay, Casey, come on.
Janice lives alone with a parrot, who seems to be her only friend right now. Like Bacchus, she was chief over the military police, and like him, she